Hey guys, I don't know about you, but this time of year can be really difficult for me as a garden lover. Um, the excitement of the holidays is over. It's the end of January going into February. It's that time where we're so close to being able to start seeds or start cold weather crops out in the garden. But at least in my area, we're just not quite there yet. So the way I survive this time is by looking through seed catalogs, ordering the seeds that I want to get started for this year, and just kind of fantasizing about what I want to plant this year. So I have already ordered the flowers that I want to start for this year, and we also have our vegetable seeds. So I thought it would be fun to do a seed haul, talk about where we got our seeds this year, what flowers I'm growing and why, and also go through what we're thinking for vegetables this year. So we actually tried, this year we ordered flower seeds from Park Seeds, which I have never ordered seed from before. So this is my first time ordering from Park Seed. So I got all of my annual flower seeds from Park Seed this year. And in the past, I have not been a huge, I haven't been really into growing annual flowers. My thing has always been perennials and trying to plant as many native plants and flowers as I can in my yard. But over the past couple of years, I've really begun to appreciate annual flowers and for their beauty and they are beneficial for pollinators and beneficial insects as well. They're just not native. So annual flowers for me have started to become a really fun way to just play around. And the great thing about them is they're usually less expensive. And if you don't like it or you weren't a fan of it, you just try something different the next year. They're very, low commitment. So I found last year was my first year starting flower seeds at all from seed. So this will be my second year, and I just wanted to try a few different things. So I'm going to take you through what I got from Park Seed. And this is what they looked like when they came. It's actually really pretty gold packaging. So most of the seeds I ordered from Park Seeds are annual flowers. I think I ordered one perennial native flower because I can't help myself, and I love planting native plants as often as I can. So So the first flower I wanted to talk about are calendula flowers. Calendula is, from what I've read, super easy to grow. It is beneficial for pollinators, and they're beautiful. They kind of look like little daisies. And I've seen on YouTube a lot of other gardeners growing calendula. The other name for them is pot marigold, but they are not like the typical French marigold that you would see like in a garden center. So I'm excited to grow those. So this will be my first time trying calendula. Yeah, they're good for pollinators and they're easy, which is two things that I love in any plant. I'm also going to do marigolds again this year. So marigolds, I had never been a huge fan of marigolds or particularly attracted to marigolds, but last year there was a flat of them on sale at my local garden center, so I thought they're super cheap, why not? And I ended up loving them. I love the way they smelled. They bloomed continuously all year. I had several pots of marigolds on my porch, and we put some in our veggie beds as well. And they seemed to help keep mosquitoes away, which could totally be my imagination. But they just seem to kind of help hide us from the bugs a little bit. So I'm going to be growing two types of marigolds. I'm just looking at my notes. I'm going to be growing the Disco Mix from Park Seed and the Whopper Mix from Park Seed. So this will be my second year, and I don't know, I really enjoyed them last year. The next flower I'm going to try to start this year is nasturtium. And this will also be my first time growing nasturtium. And this is another flower annual that anytime I'm watching another gardener on YouTube, they continuously bring up nasturtium as something to plant in the vegetable bed to help, I guess they attract aphids, so they can kind of lure aphids away from your tomatoes or your other veggies. But they're also beautiful, and they have really unique leaves, and they also attract beneficial insects. So I'm excited to try the nasturtium, and I'm going to be starting the Whirlybird blend from Park Seed. The next flower I'm going to be starting this year are zinnias. And zinnias are another one that I grew for the first time from seed last year. They're so easy to grow. They bloom all year. Mine bloomed even through frost in the fall. They just kept going, and they were beautiful. And they also attracted bees, butterflies. They looked amazing the entire year. They're super hardy as far as drought and full sun go. They were able to take just being blasted by full sun, didn't need a ton of water. So they did really well in my garden. So for zinnias, I'm going to be trying the Queen Red Lime and the Deep Salmon Hybrid from Park Seed. So the colors just look beautiful, and I couldn't help myself, so I ordered them. And then the last flower I'm going to be trying to start from seed is actually a perennial, and it's a native perennial, and it is Rocky Mountain Penstemon. I've never grown penstemon before. I've been trying to find penstemon as a plant at local garden centers, and I just haven't been able to find it. It's a native plant. It's good for the local wildlife. It's good for beneficial insects, and I really want it in my garden. So I'm going to try to grow it from seed and see what happens. So since that is a perennial, it's not going to bloom this year. So it will probably bloom the second year next year, but I figured if I haven't been able to find it, I'll start it now, and by next year I will get to enjoy it. So that's all I have for flower seeds this year. Then as far as vegetables go, we tried a new grower for vegetables as well. So we ordered from Mowing organic seeds this year. It's our first time ordering from them. I'd never heard of them before, and I was watching an episode of Growing a Greener World. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that show. but they did an entire episode on high mowing seeds and their process and how they got into business and why they do what they do. And the awesome thing about them is all of their seeds are organic, and they're very affordable. A lot of times when you buy organic flower seeds or organic vegetable or flower seeds, they're a little bit more expensive. And I just love that they weren't more expensive. And I like the idea of growing an organic seed, at least for the food we're eating. So we have a ton. This is what the packaging looks like from High Mowing Seeds. We bought a ton of vegetables. We have some things that we grow every single year in our garden that are our must-haves, that we absolutely love. And then we always like to try something new, something a little different, just for fun. So some of the things we always grow are red Russian kale. Red Russian kale is my very favorite kale. I love it. I love eating it in salads. It's delicious. I have to have it every year. So I got some of that. We always have some different varieties of lettuce. So we have red oak leaf lettuce and arrow star lettuce. We also have some spinach, renegade spinach. That's another one that we have to have every year. And then as far as tomatoes go, we usually like to grow an heirloom tomato for eating fresh, and then my husband likes to cook, so he likes to have some kind of a paste tomato. So we usually grow Roma tomatoes because he likes to make his own tomato sauces. But this year we saw that they had Amish paste tomatoes, which look really similar to Roma's, but we've never tried them before, so we just thought it would be fun to see if there was a noticeable difference with the flavor. And then we're growing a couple of just fun medium to large size tomatoes. So we're going to be growing indigo apple tomato and Prudence purple tomato. We also always have to have green beans. I don't like green beans from the grocery store. The only time I will eat green beans is if they are from the garden. I actually feel the same way about tomatoes too. After growing your own tomatoes and green beans, it's just, buying them at the store, it doesn't compare. So we always have to have green beans. So we have the Provider bush bean, which we have grown before. And then something called an Eclipse dry bean, which is just another bush bean. So I thought we'd give that a try and see what it tastes like. We also always like to grow beets and carrots. So we're going to be growing the Early Wonder Tall Top Beet and the Danvers 126 carrot. And then last year we, for the first time, grew broccoli. We grew two different types of broccoli. We grew the large, the broccoli that grows just like one large floret. And then we also grew broccolis that are kind of cut and come again. So you get smaller florets, but they continue to grow until they kind of peter out. So those were delicious. So we are doing that type of broccoli again. So this is the De Chico broccoli. I'm excited for this. It's called a multi-cut heirloom variety. should be good. And then we always also grow cucumbers. We're growing a something called green finger cucumber, just for eating fresh. And then we also wanted to try our hand at pickling this year. That's something else that we really want to get into, is getting better at preserving our extra vegetables. And pickling is a really easy way to do that. So we thought we would try, just give making pickles a try this year. So we also have the National Pickling Cucumber. And then we also have to have a red bell pepper. So we're gonna try this. This is the King of the North sweet pepper. Then we like to have a couple of squash too. So we love to have an acorn squash and a butternut squash. So we'll be growing those this year. And then our fun thing that we're trying is pak choi. So this is prize choy pak choi. This one didn't come with a picture on it. We've never grown any type of pak choi or bok choy before, so we thought it would be fun to give it a try and just see how we like it. So that's all we have for vegetables and flowers at this point. I always try to cut myself off and say, okay, this is what I'm ordering. I'm not going to order anything else. This is already pushing the bounds of what we can fit in our garden. But inevitably I will go to a garden center or a nursery and I will buy more flowers, and we will pick up more vegetables, or we'll see a seed packet somewhere and some other things that we can't help it. If you're a gardener, you understand this. The struggle is real. It's a little bit of an addiction, but it's a fun addiction. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it maybe gave you some ideas of some things to try in your own garden. I know I love watching what other people are doing in their gardens and getting ideas. I mean, that's where I got some of the ideas for trying some of these flowers. So I'm excited. Now we just have to wait like 2 or 3 weeks until we can actually set up our seed starting, which is also what I plan to do for my next video, is to show you our indoor seed starting setup, which does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be expensive. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, and share what you're growing in your gardens. I love to see it, and I love to get ideas from other gardeners. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.